Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing Comic Uno's Best Comics of the Week, and this is the show where I review all the comics I've read this week in one show. We go least favorite to best pick of the week and everything in between. And before I get started, at the end of the video, we talk about the viewer's pick of the week. So in the comments below, let me know your pick of the week for a chance to be featured. Also, be sure to give this a like, that way we got a better chance of getting this video to more people. Now, I actually had a pretty large haul this week with 15 books, and number 15 was Free Planet issue 1. This is a on-whim book I got. I believe the creator has done a lot for Kickstarter. I've seen his name floating around for a wrestling book on there, so I was like, oh, I want to go check this out. I'll say this was just not for me. It was very dialogue heavy, spacey, and I thought it would be a little bit more character driven, but because they're trying to introduce so much at you, it just didn't make me connect to it. So overall, giving that one 2 stars, and that is number 15. Moving on to number 14, I am pretty shocked this is so low because I've been really liking this title, and that is Absolute Superman issue 7. I'm just not a huge Brainiac fan, and it's funny because if I didn't have, believe it or not, Harley Quinn, the anime series to relate it to, I might have been a little softer to this book, but because they just did a really good Brainiac story in there and made you feel for that character a little bit more, this story just didn't do as much for me, and again, it didn't really quite make me a Brainiac fan, and it kind of treaded a lot of the same things that the Harley Quinn show, I think, did in a better way. So this also felt like a filler issue compared to the last issue was also kind of more of a, let's see what happened in the past. I just want to go back to the present and progress the story there. So that's another reason why this is a little lower. So overall, giving that 2 stars, and that is number 14. Moving on to number 13, which is The Amazing Spider-Man issue 3. Not the last, so that's pretty nice. But you know, this is very much a moving forward issue from that drug issue that I didn't quite like. We find the villain who drugged him, Hobgoblin's involved, and that's pretty much the issue. It's just him dealing with, I was drugged! What do I do? And now he's like, oh my god, it's Hobgoblin. I'm gonna fight you. And you get some of the past as well. There's this like weird scene of Peter fighting with Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and we'll see where that ends up going, but I just couldn't quite get into this one. The artwork's solid though. Want to see what's going on with Hobgoblin, but the rest of it wasn't really for me. So giving that 2 stars, and that is number 13. Moving on to number 12, which is Batgirl issue 7. I was really into the beginning of this one. I liked Cass calling Steph on the phone. We finally have moved past the Lady Shiva stuff, and then Lady Shiva leaves a little note to Cassandra and says, well, let me give you an exposition dump about my sister. And that's the whole issue. The artwork was good, but I was just expecting something different, and I want more Cassandra Cain for her book, and I want more Batgirl, and I'm just not getting that right now, and I just don't know when we're gonna get more of just Batgirl. And you know, this arc I think is gonna be more exposition, so we will see. Giving that one 2.5 stars. Moving on to number 11, which is Deadpool issue 14. And this issue continues another arc that has been in Deadpool. I started picking up this series when he died and his daughter took over the mantle, so I haven't read the previous stuff, and I know that this villain's from there. As we get to the finale, I thought we would have a little bit of a stronger moment, maybe even just between the supporting cast. I feel like it was very jokey. Obviously, it's Deadpool, but it was just a very jokey end to what I thought could be kind of a bigger moment. We'll see what that last issue, that 350 issue is, but I didn't think this was the greatest penultimate issue to kind of get to that finale. For a series I do think is kind of ending too soon. So giving that one 3 stars, and that is number 11. Moving on to number 10, which is the topic of this video, Captain Planet. So as you can see, it's kind of in the middle here because I'm not a huge watcher of Captain Planet. I watched a few episodes here and there as a kid. I'm a 1994 kid, so I saw reruns, but I didn't really grow up with it. But you know, I'm a huge fan of things like Power Rangers, so I wanted to see if this series would do a similar thing to Power Rangers. Now with Power Rangers, granted, I feel like it took a little time to kind of find its footing, and this issue was very much, who are the Captain Planeteers and who is Captain Planet? Also, let's make it a little bit more serious. But as someone who has no connection to the Planeteers, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I guess you get a little glimpse of them and just see who they literally are. And then they are going to come together and join to help Captain Planet. It is very, very much an intro issue. You see it's a little bit more serious because of the art tone, but I just didn't quite get a lot from this issue, so I'm on the fence if I'd get issue 2. And my recommendation, if you should put on your pull list, was it worth the hype? I think it's worth the hype in the sense of I like that these nostalgia titles are finding a new type of story. I think that's cool. And maybe if you're a Captain Planet fan, this would be the best thing ever. But if you're just kind of on the fence of like, oh, is this going to be like a Power Rangers version of Captain Planet? I don't quite think so, but we'll see if I end up getting issue 2 and feeling if it improved or it got me more hooked. So giving that one 3 stars, and that is number 10. Moving on to number 9, another one very on the fence with, and that is all new Venom issue 6. A weird book, because, and this is a little higher than I'm sure on other people's lists, but the reason being is that there's something there. There's something I like about it. Like, I liked MJ's relationship to Venom. I think there's some weird humor that somewhat worked about her being sitting right next to Venom, and Venom has like his arm around MJ, and they're like 2 different people. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. I like the Dylan teenage angst in the end, and that Venom does care about Dylan. I'm curious to see where Flash Thompson's gonna be all involved with this. That's interesting. But the wild thing of it all is it's exposition of this really weird origin story of MJ becoming Venom. We can't sidestep that. I don't know if she should be Venom. The explanation was very strange, but I want to see what character moments can come out of this. There's something there that can be good. Just take away Paul and make it more about MJ's connection to Venom, and there could possibly be an okay book here. I don't know if it's there. The artwork is solid, so it's just a weird book to me. So I'm going to be giving that one 3 stars, and I will continue picking it up because I'm just curious about it. So now going into number 8, which is Birds of Prey, issue 21. Solid enough series. This is, Barda is AWOL, and we can't find her. The Birds of Prey try to find her. They come and team up, and now she's teaming up with a villain. Not on purpose. She's kind of being taken over, and that's the issue. Pretty point A to point B. Had a fun enough time with it. The artwork is solid, and I just like seeing the team together. So giving that one 3.5 stars, and that is number 8. Moving on to number 7, which is Spider-Gwen. Ghost Spider, issue 13, a book that keeps surprising me. I keep saying this book shouldn't work, but it kind of does. Gwen is a cosmic cube. It's so weird. But this issue really is just Jean's relationship with Gwen, them teaming up, having a good emotional gal pal moment as we get to see them pretty much saying, yeah, Gwen, you're gonna have to keep the cosmic cube for a little longer. Here's some tips to fight Loki. That's pretty much the issue. But it's so character driven, and you get into Gwen's head so much in a positive way that it works. You're having fun enough time with it. So giving that one 3.5 stars. The artwork is still a little darker than I want it to be, but I like this series. I think it's one of the more solid series of Spider-Gwen since, honestly, since the original run. So giving that 3.5 stars. Moving on to number 6, which is It's Jeff Week, issue 1. I love these books. They're just so cute, and it really shows how an artist and writing creative team can make or break a book. And Thompson and, let me pronounce his name right, Gurihiro, they just have a great collaboration. And I love Jeff's facial expressions, and it's just fun. It's just a fun book where we get to see Jeff team up with the rest of the Marvel Universe and do wacky things, and it's a great palate cleanser for the rest of your pull list. So moving on to number 5, which is Grommets, issue 7. This is the finale. We've been waiting a little while for it, and they kind of leave it off where maybe we'll get more. What I like about it is that it really does feel like a peek into the 80s. As I said earlier, I'm not an 80s kid, so I feel like as someone who was born in the 90s, I kind of got a view of what it was like, and I loved the letter in the end. It's like, oh, it's all the bruises and the drama that we all remember from the 80s, and I think that this book paints a picture of that really well with all the relationships that are cultivated, and I like the ending. I think it ends in a great place, and I really love the last panel where we get to see the friend go on the biggest ramp, and it's like, oh, hey, you might not survive this, you might really get hurt, and you don't actually see what happens in the end. I kind of like that open ending of like, does he get hurt? He probably doesn't die, but it's like, oh man, does his teeth get busted in, or does he actually make it and impress these people? Most likely it's the former, where he gets his teeth broken in. But yeah, I like the series a lot. I'm curious if they'll do more with it, but I thought it was a really fun slice of life book that really paints a picture of an era that I didn't live in. And I'm sure for Gen X people, they really enjoyed it because it's an era they did live in. So giving that 4 stars, and that is number 5. Moving on to number 4, which is Uncanny Valley, issue 9. Tony Fleecs Can Do No Wrong. And it's interesting because I felt like Farrell had a very similar issue this week where you're kind of getting to a place, right? You're not in the setting yet, but you're getting to the setting, but you still do so much good character work that it doesn't matter that you haven't gone to that B setting yet. And that's with the parents, with the mom, and the grandpa hasn't gone to the kid yet, but they're getting there, and it's the search to kind of get there. there and them embracing their cartoon side and learning more about their relationship, and also, again, learning more about the world, learning more about the boys' connection to this world. It's a good issue, solid issue, and curious to see where the rest of it's going to go. So giving that 4 stars, and that's number 4. Moving on to number 3, which is Jumpscare, issue 3. This is a really under-the-radar book. If you're not picking it up and you're a horror fan, especially a slasher fan, pick this up. The artwork is superb for this book. And also, it's an interesting slasher superhero series where we get to see this character team up with the big bad, because there's a bigger bad that kind of relates to her past. It feels like a very culty religious thing. And now she has to save her sister, who has been moved away from her for a long time. So you're curious about that relationship and where that dynamic is going to go. Really solid issue, good fighting, good action, and good drama there as well. So giving that 4 stars, and that is number 3. Moving on to number 2, which is Black Canary, Best of the Best, issue 6. This is the last issue of this mini. And honestly, I think this is Tom King at his best. I really liked the overall story between daughter and mother, where Black Canary has to decide, is she gonna surrender? Is she gonna help her mom? And then everything does end up in a great place. And I thought the interconnectivity and the intercutting between the fight and her relationship with her mom always played really well, and it played well in the finale as well. There's some good gruesomeness in the action as we deal with this more emotional weight of Dinah's imperfect relationship with her mom and still wanting to save her mom. And I like the way they used the wig too. I thought that played with Dinah's past really well, especially with just old school Black Canary, and be like, well, how do you keep that wig on for so long? I thought they played with that very well as well. So giving that 4 stars, and that is number 2. Moving on to number 1, which was my number 1 last month as well, and that is Absolute Green Lantern issue 2. This is becoming very quickly my favorite Absolute title. I love the world they're building. I really enjoy that we actually get to see the Green Lanterns all together, even if they're not all Green Lanterns. You get to see they were friends before it, so they already have a connection as this really crazy thing like Abin Sur taking over the world or taking over their town is happening. You get some big shocking moments like Guy Gardner getting hurt, maybe even on the verge of death. I thought he did die, and then they're like, no, he's just hurt. So we'll see what happens with Guy. And then obviously this kind of light and darkness of Joe being part of the Green Lanterns, John holding the ring, and then Hal having this black void on him connected to one of the police officers' guns. So you're like, where's every character gonna go? You really don't know. Even if you think you know these characters, you don't know where it's going, because it's an alternate universe. And they're just put everything on a head in a really interesting way as character continues to come first, and there's some good twists and turns. Great artwork as well as we deal with the Abin Sur of it all. But I thought it was a very, very solid issue. So giving that 4.5 stars, that is my pick of the week. Let me know in the comments below what your pick of the week was. This was Comic Uno. So last week's pick of the week was Ultimate Spider-Man, and here are some comments about that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.